Shalawam Yashraal, this is Hadassah Bat Sayawan coming to you with part 2 of the second Exodus into the wilderness. Now I changed the title slightly and from the word and to the word into, because that's what the second Exodus is all about. And I've been meaning to say this at the start of my videos. If you hear a buzzing sound in the background, it is a fan going. It is quite warm here in Egypt. This is where I'm living. And so I have to keep the fan going to cool myself and to cool my computer so that it doesn't overheat and become damaged, and then I'll have to get a new one, and I don't want to do that. So bear the sound of the buzzing in the background and just listen to my voice. That's why I don't have music or anything. I don't have anything fancy. You're not going to see any fancy footwork here when it comes to my videos, because, and I changed that quite by accident. Yes, you're not going to see any fancy footwork with fancy music and fancy video clips. No, I don't do any of that stuff. I just go straight to the word, because time is getting very, very short, and I want to get this information out there as soon as possible. And I'm sure if you come to my channel and you look at my videos, you notice that they've been uploaded 1, 2, 3, 4 days after, they almost daily. And the reason for that is I've been working on these lessons for more than 2 years now, since I moved here. The Most High, He started teaching me even deeper stuff, deeper understanding, because now He has my full attention. I'm not working a 9-to-5 job. I work at my own pleasure. I choose my hours, and I make enough to survive on. And that's exactly where He wanted me to be in that place where I am now in control of my time. And He's now in control of me. And now He could pour all these lessons, all these revelations and teachings into me. And that's what He's been doing for the last, I would say, two and a half years. And it's been wonderful, because at first, well, I knew that I was going to be making videos. And I did start to make videos 2 years ago, but He said, no, now is not the time. And I'm grateful for Him for saying that, because the information that I had gathered was not sufficient, in the sense that I needed to learn first before I passed the information along. And what's been happening in our community amongst our brethren is that one person will learn from another here, there, and everywhere, put that information together and create their own content. And that would be their lesson. Now, the lesson is not coming from the Ruach HaKodesh, it's coming from a few different sources of people. And so they put it together with scriptures and whatnot, and they say, okay, this is what I believe. Okay, good for you that you believe that, but is it from the Ruach HaKodesh? Has He taught you this information? Right? And if He's not teaching you the information, you got to check your sources, and you got to make sure that that's exactly what He's saying. And that was the mistake that I was making. Not that I was taking teachings from other people, but I was absorbing this theology about the wilderness, and I thought, yeah, I'm going to go into the wilderness, and so I'm going to learn from that point of view. I'm going to go to the scriptures and learn it from that point of view, right? And that's when He pulled me back and said, wait a second, no, you don't understand anything yet. You don't. Yes, there's going to be an Exodus, but you don't understand anything yet. So let me be the one to teach you. So I had to put all those thoughts aside, all those lessons that I thought I've learned, put all those aside and allow him to take me through his wonderful maze of scriptures and let him teach me and show me what it is that he wanted me to see, learn, and understand. And then I was able to look at those old lessons and realize, wait a second, you're way off the mark there, son or daughter. You're way off, right? Because the second Exodus is not meant for the southern kingdom. It's meant for the northern kingdom. That's why when I was studying the scriptures, I would hear, yes, we'll be going into the wilderness, but no one would say why we're going into the wilderness. And then people would say, well, the 12 tribes are going to be gathered together in the wilderness. And yeah, I didn't see that there were 12 tribes that were going to be gathered into the wilderness. Yes, I saw the House of Yahshua, but then I also saw the name, the House of Judah, Yahawada. I'm like, to me, I had a lot of questions. And I know that it was the Ruach HaKadosh that was showing me what they're teaching is not being reconciled with the scriptures, right? Because they're teaching all 12 tribes are going into the wilderness, and yet we are a divided people. We're a northern kingdom and a southern kingdom, right? Because they do not understand, and they don't have the understanding because the Ruach isn't teaching them. So that's my little introduction for the second Exodus into the wilderness. And what we're going to look at today, we're going to look at the prophecies. And the prophecies, the wonderful thing about the Most High, his word functions for yesterday, today, and tomorrow. Okay? That's how his word can be used until the end of time. Right? So when we look at the prophecies, even though Jeremiah, which is Jeremiah, Yeshaiah, which is Isaiah, right? They were speaking to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom there and then. Ezekiel as well. They were all speaking to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom. They were sending messages to them because they weren't scattered that far away as yet. But the messages that they sent to them was to let them know, okay, you are in this terrible situation right now, but it's not always going to be like this. Because the Most High, he will come and save you. All 12 tribes. He's going to save them. But right now, you got to go through your time of punishment because of your wickedness. But it's not always going to be like this. So the messages were for them to have a little hope. But most importantly, the lessons are for us today, telling us what will happen tomorrow. So now we can go into the scriptures. The northern tribes were scattered, and that's the 9.5 tribes, since 921 BC. Some places you might find it 722 BC. And they had the help of Yahweh. Yes, he did. Who dried up the river so that they could pass over as they left. As they left, so will they be returned. So they left crossing a river. So when they return, they're going to cross over another river. So we're going to look at 4 Ezra, chapter 13, verse 39. Whereas you saw that he gathered another peaceable multitude to him. And this is from the Apocrypha book. Okay? You will not find this in the Bible. It once was in the Bible, but it was taken out. Verse 40. Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hoshea the king, whom Salmanasar, the king of Assyria, led away captive, and he carried them over the waters, and so they came into another land. So he said 10 tribes, including the tribe of Lawai. But we know that the tribe of Lawai split themselves in half, and half went with the northern kingdom and half went with the southern kingdom. So it's not really 10 tribes, right? It is 9.5 for the northern kingdom. Verse 41. But they took counsel among themselves that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt. So they were taken captive by the king of Assyria, and he took them over into his land. And when it was time for them to be out of captivity, they decided, hey, we're not going back to our land. We're going farther away. Okay? Verse 42, that they might there keep their statutes, which they never kept in their own land. So that was the plan in their minds, that they wanted to find their own land where they can serve the Most High. Verse 43, and they entered into the Euphrates by the narrow places of the river. And you know that river is one of the massive rivers along with the Tigris, and there were 2 others. The names are at the tip of my tongue, but I can't bring them. But there are the 4 major rivers that the Bible always speaks about. So this river Euphrates, they went to the narrowest part of the river to cross over. Verse 44, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. So you have to ask yourself this question: which direction were they going towards? Were they going towards Europe, like towards Gog, Magog, Rosh, whatever they call that name, that country over there, or were they going towards Africa? It sounded as if they were going towards Africa. And when you see the rest of the scriptures, then you're going to know that, yes, they did cross to going towards the east rather than going towards the west. East towards going towards Africa. Okay? Verse 45, verse 44, for the Most High then showed signs for them and held still the flood till they were passed over. So he was leading them by signs, letting them know that, yes, I am with you on this journey. And once he is with you, you know this is the direction where he wants you to go. So they followed the signs. And he held the flood so that they would cross over on dry ground. Just like he did when they crossed the Red Sea. When they crossed Yarden, the river Yarden, Jordan. Now he's doing it again. Verse 45. For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years, and the same region is called Arsareth. And a lot of people claim that Arsareth is America. Well, from my understanding, you don't get to America by crossing the Euphrates and going into Africa. So obviously Arsareth is another country. You know, they've changed the maps and the topography of the map of the landscape, the geography of the landscape. They changed everything. So everything is kind of like, okay, where is exactly Arsareth? And a lot of people are assuming that it was America. I doubt very much that it was America. Okay? I doubt very much it was America. Verse 46. It took them 1.5 years, and they're traveling by foot. And they're not going to be walking every day. They're going to take some days off. For example, Shabbat, right? If they want to keep their statutes, that's one of their laws that they have to keep. So they're not going to be traveling all 7 days. They're going to take time to rest. They had children with them. They had women that were pregnant. So they're not going to travel continuously for those 1.5 years. They're going, well, every day, every week, every month. They're going to take time to rest. And that's why it took them that long to travel from where they were in Assyria all the way over into different parts of Africa, and even I think some of them ended up in Shinar, different places around that region. We're going to look at it is in the next scripture. Okay. There dwelt they there until the latter time, and now when they will begin to come. And what is this latter time? Every time you hear the words latter time, he's speaking of the end time. He's speaking of the final days, the last days. All right. So he's saying, and they dwelt there, so they're still there until what? The last days. And now when they will begin to come, they will begin to come. They will return. Okay? The highest will stay the springs of the stream again, that they may go through. Therefore saw you the multitude with peace, but those that be left behind of your people are those that are found within my borders. Now, not everyone scattered all the way to West Africa. No, as lots of people they went up north. Okay, they were within the border, because there's a border of land that belonged to Shem. Shem is the son of Noah. And after the flood, the three brothers divided the land. So there's a border that is around the land of Shem. It's from the river of Masarayam, the river of Egypt, which would be the river Nile, all the way across to the river Euphrates, right? And that entire region all the way up to the north, not all the way up, but I can't remember the name of the land, and all the way down south is the land for Shem. So that's within their borders. Now there are some people that also encompassed the land of Jordan, the land of Edom, right? Actually, it was called Moab back in those days, but though all that land belonged to us, the Sinai Peninsula is also part of that land that belonged to Shem. All the way up north, Lebanon, all that region. So people that are still there, they don't really have to travel anywhere per se. So that's why he said, those that be left behind of your people are those that are found within my borders. But the ones that are outside of the borders, they're the ones that need to come back in, because that's where he's going to keep them safe. The land is going to be returned to us plus some. All right, and we're going to see why in part 3 of this lesson. There's a reason why he's going to cause us to multiply greater than we were before. So we're going to need a lot more space, obviously. Verse 49. Now when he destroys the multitude of the nations that are gathered together, he will defend his people that remain. And then he will show them great wonders. So he is going to be showing, when he brings the northern kingdom back, and he does all these wonderful miracles for them, right? He's going to show them great wonders. They're not going to feel left out, abandoned. He is going to show them great signs and wonders that will allow them to know that he is there with them, just like he was with our forefathers in the wilderness. Okay, let's look at Yahshua, which is the book of Isaiah chapter 11. And it shall come to pass in that day that Yahweh shall set his hand again the second time to recover the remnant of his people that shall be left from Assyria. We notice, remember I told you, they're all going to be in this region. They're not, this is the northern kingdom that I'm speaking about. All right. Iraq, Turkey, Iran, Kuwait, and Syria, that all made up the land of Assyria. And from Matsuriah, which you know is Egypt, and from Pathros, which is Upper Egypt, and from Cush, which is Africa, and from Elam, which is a province east of Babylon / Iraq, and from Shinar, which is Babylon, right, which we know is around that area, and from Hamath, Upper Syria, and from the islands of the seas. Not talking about the Caribbean islands either, okay? So this is where our people have been scattered to the northern kingdom of the 9.5 tribes. Now, I understand that transportation has improved greatly since those days. People are able to fly to North America, South America, to the Caribbean, wherever, UK, Canada. The Northern Kingdom would have gone, some of those people would have gone those places, because they're looking for, new life, new chances, new opportunities. Yes, you're going to have a handful of people doing that, right? Scattered to those four corners. But the greater majority of our people are in this region. The greater majority. So when you listen to the camps, the Hebrew camps, not all of them, some of them, that tell you that our people are in Panama, the Northern Kingdom, Panamanians, the tribe of Gad are the North American Indians. Cuba, Puerto Rico, Brazil, Mexico, and all these different peoples that don't look like us. Now, I would not dispute that there may be some of the Southern Kingdom, a handful of the Southern Kingdom in Puerto Rico and what's the other island? Puerto Rico and, anyways, gone out of my head. Cuba, sorry, yes. I would not dispute that. All right? There might be a handful of our people there. My great-grandmother had a sister living there, and her sister had children living there. So I know a handful of our people live there. But the greater concentration of our people, the Southern Kingdom, yes, is in North America. Some might have left and went to their master's country, UK. There are many. The Caribbean islands, that's where there's the greatest concentration as well, because we were taken there to work. Well, the North America as well. But my point is, when we look at each other, when the people of the Caribbean look at the people that are in North America that call themselves African American, we all look alike. Don't we? So how come these people from these foreign lands look like foreigners compared to us? They're all with their straight hair, their light skin, their different color eyes. And I already explained why these camps and people that believe this, because not only the camps, there's some of our brethren who are not part of a camp. They are teaching this nonsense. And the reason why they're teaching this nonsense is because they're either married into another nation, like a Asian or Caucasian or whatever, they're married outside of their lineage because they don't like their color. No, they don't. They want to white themselves out. They don't like themselves. They've been so damaged in their thinking that they believe that the only way that they can live a privileged life is if they marry into another nation. Yes, we've been persecuted for a reason, because we are the chosen. We're the holy people. And you go and you degrade yourself by marrying an outsider, a Gentile. And then you think, by deceiving yourself into thinking, well, you know, Ephraim is a cake unturned, a cake not turned. So therefore, it means that all the pale-skinned people that are living in the other Caribbean islands has to be our people, along with the native Indians and some Asians and whatnots. And it's just so much craziness, because they want to marry into these nations, and they want a way for other people to accept this fact. Well, their facts, because it's not the fact of the Most High. So that's why they would say the 9.5 tribes are all these different people. And when I look at the faces of these people, I was like, well, I don't even see an ounce of myself in those people. When you look at them, they look nothing like us. And you know what? They don't even like us. I know the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom have been enmity with each other, but at least we look like each other. But these people, they don't look anything like us, so they would hate us even more. This is a lie that has been growing amongst our people for so long, because a lot of our people have married into the Gentiles and have children by them. And now that there are some very awakened teachers out there that are teaching facts, that once you have married into the other nations, you have just forfeited your inheritance unless you put away your husband and your children, because they will not be welcomed into the kingdom. The Father has a reason for not wanting these people into his into his kingdom. Maybe later on, when they submit themselves to him and to us, the ones that do will be given an inheritance, but they will not be allowed to marry our people. They are here, they will be there to be our servants, and yet they will be treated better than how they treated us. Why would you lower yourself? It's like you are a princess and you go marry the boy that is cleaning out the sheep pen, covered all in his muck and smelling rancid. That's what you want to marry. Now, I'm not trying to demean other nations, but I'm just showing you a comparison as to who you are compared to who they are. You're a princess and you want to marry a slave, because you've been convinced that you're the slave and they are the masters of this world. When you go and look at the history books, you see their images as to the founders of this world, the historians of this world, the professors and all the different ones. Look at their images. So you're convinced that you're nothing because you don't see your image in a history book. But that's been a plan from the dawn of time by Satan to diminish us because he knows who we are. And he knows that we are the ones that the Most High has given his garment to. Not only do we have the garment that Adam lost, but we have his as well. So we have a combined garment, meaning an upgraded garment, a higher glory. The same thing that he tricked Hawa into believing that if she ate of the fruit, she would become like a god, knowing both good and evil. She already had the glory, she had the light, but she wanted more. Because the Father, if they had eaten of the tree of life, would have given them his glory, Satan's garment that he lost. He wasn't named Satan at the time. Satan's a title. But Lucifer, he was the highest of all the angels. So he lost his light, and the garment that was his was given to Abraham. It could not have been given to Adam and Hawa because they sinned. So that's why I said that our garment is going to be an upgraded garment, higher than what Adam and Hawa had when they were first in the Garden of Eden. And that's why he's trying to prevent us from receiving this inheritance by lying to us to make us feel that we're nothing. And raising up the nothings in this world to make them think that they're something. And we have bought it, hook, line, and sinker. And that's why we go and marry into these nations and get all these children and thinking, oh yeah, I'm moving up in life now. I'm moving up. I have better opportunities now because I've married a Caucasian man or a Caucasian woman. I watched this video one time. I almost vomited. This one man who was given a job as a coach, and I think he made history for this job. I don't want to say anything about the job because I just took it with a grain of salt and moved on. But this is the point that I want to make. He attributed his success to his Caucasian wife. He felt that because he was married to her, he attained this high level in his career. I thought, man, you are so misinformed. You have no confidence in yourself. You are such a broken person. And I've heard many a man say that the reason why they marry into another culture is because they want pretty children with pretty hair. So what's wrong with our hair? They're the ones that want to go and get their hair kinky, and we're trying to get our hair straight. Ain't that something, huh? But let me move on. I can go on and on and on about this, but I want to cover these scriptures so that I can finish part 2 within a reasonable amount of time. Verse 12. And he set up for an ensign for the nations, and shall assemble the outcasts of Yashraal, and gather together the dispersed of Yahawada from the four corners of the earth. Yahawada is scattered to the four corners of the earth. And notice that he said he will set up an ensign. And who is that ensign? Is no other than Hamashiach. He said, if I be lifted up, I will draw all men unto myself. He was not talking about the Gentiles. He's talking about his people. Right? And the nations that the prophet is speaking about are our 12 nations. So he's going to assemble the outcasts of Yashraal, this northern kingdom, apart from the dispersed of Yahawada from the four corners of the earth. This is what he is going to do. He's going to deal with us separately. Just because it's in the same sentence doesn't mean he's going to deal with us together. Verse 13, the envy also of Aparayam, which is Ephraim, shall depart, and the adversaries of Yahawada shall be cut off. Aparayam shall not envy Yahawada, and Yahawada shall not vex Aparayam. Now you understand that the northern kingdom were at war with the southern kingdom, and the southern kingdom was at war with the northern kingdom. There was envy, there was hatred between the two. That's why he sent the northern kingdom farther away and kept the southern kingdom in their land, because there must always be a king sitting on the throne of Yahawada. That was his promise to Dawad. And that king is none other than Hamashiach, who came through the lineage of Yahawada. And that's why Yahawada remained in the land, because he was going to bring the king. And in order to bring the king must be in the land, right? So he kept them in the land. But later on, he scattered them to the four corners of the earth because of their wickedness. Verse 14. But they shall fly upon the shoulders of the Philistines towards the west. They shall spoil them of the east together. They shall lay their hand upon Edom and Moab, and the children of Ammon shall obey them. Who's he speaking about? He's speaking about the southern kingdom when they come back. And although we don't have the so-called Philistines like they did back in the day, right? And we don't have Edom and Moab, but we have other peoples that have the same characteristics of these people. Actually, the children of Ammon and the children of Moab are the Jordanians. But they're called Jordanians. They're not called Moab or Ammon. So these people will have no other choice but to obey the northern kingdom when they come through. And Yahweh, verse 15, shall utterly destroy the tongue of Matzarayam sea. That's the South Sinai Peninsula he's going to destroy. And his mighty wind shall he shake and with his mighty wind shall he shake his hand over the river, and shall smite it in the seven streams, and make men go over dry shod. Now I have two possibilities for which river this could be. It could be the same Euphrates, but I doubt it, because if they're dealing with Moab and Ammon and Edom, which is all closer to the land, right? Maybe he's going to dry up both rivers. Maybe they're going to come around and then circle around and enter into the land through the river Jordan. We don't know. But they're going to cross over a river again, and they're going to come into the land that way. Verse 16, and there shall be a highway for the remnant of his people, which shall be left from Assyria, like as it was to Yashrael in the day that he came up out of the land of Matzarayam. So he's going to pave a way for his people, just like he paved the way for them through the wilderness and led them around for a while until he sent them to spy out the promised land. When they said, no, we can't go in there, we're grasshoppers, they're giants, he said, okay, fine, go back into the wilderness and die there, right? But that's not going to happen to these people, the northern kingdom. When he brings them out, he's going to be sloughing off the rebels as they go along. He's going to just kill them off. Because by the time these people enter into the promised land, into the land of Yashrael, it will only be the righteous remnant. Right? So he is going to lead these people. He is going to pave, literally pave a way for them to walk safely to their land. And he's going to provide for them all along the way. And we're going to see that in other scriptures. So let's look at Yeshaiah 43, verse 1. But now said Yahweh that created you, O Yaokab, he that formed you, O Yashrael, fear not. I have called you by your name. You are mine. When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. And through the rivers. So does that sound like they're going to pass through only one river? I believe they're going to have to pass through several rivers. So he's going to make a way in the rivers. And they shall not overflow you. When you walk through the fire, you shall not be burnt, neither shall the flame kindle upon you. For I am Yahweh Al-Hayak, your Al-Hayam, the Holy One of Yashrael, your Savior. He is the one who is going to deliver them. I give Matzorayam for your ransom, Ethiopia and Seba for you. Since you are precious in my sight, you have been honorable, and I have loved you. Therefore will I give men for you and people for your life. He is going to protect them all along the way. Do you think that those people in the neighboring lands are going to just sit by and not try to stop these people? Satan's on a rampage. He is going to stir up the hearts and minds of these people against our people, to come and try to stop them from coming into the land. That's why he keeps saying to them, do not be afraid. Verse 5, fear not, for I am with you. I will bring your seed from the east and gather you from the west. I will say to the north, give up, to the south, keep not back. Bring my sons from far, my daughters from the ends of the earth. So he is gathering the northern kingdom. And people think that because he said north, it means North America. No, it does not mean North America. It means the northern part, which would be Turkey area. Turkey, up there where Cappadocia, I think that's what it's called. And those countries up there, I should have put a map in here so you will see, but just know that north is not North America. All right, it's up there like where Lebanon is and Syria, those kind of places up there. That's where some of our people are scattered to, as well as northern Egypt. But they don't know. The sad state of affairs is these people don't know that they're Yashrael. They will have to be awakened like we were awakened. Right? So let's move on. I will say, verse 7, even everyone that is called by my name, for I have created him for my glory. I have formed him. Yes, I have made him. So he knows who belongs to him, and it will only be the chosen few, the remnant. It's not going to be a massive multitude of people that are coming out. Right? Now skip down to verse 18. Remember you not the former things, neither consider the things of old. Behold, I will do a new thing, and it shall spring forth. Shall you not know it? I will even make a way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert. Now, our forefathers, did they have a way in the wilderness and did they have rivers? No, because there were the rebels that he brought out, and he wanted to try them, prove them, to show them what was in their hearts so that they would yield their idolatry and their wickedness and submit to him. But that didn't work. So he put them through the tests time and time again. To show them you were suffering, but instead of praying, you complain. Okay, fine. I'll give you this water. Now, did they learn from that experience? No, because time and time and time again, for the full 40 years, there were a bunch of complaining people, grumbling and complaining. And that's why he said, you're not coming into my land. So, but with these people now, these ones that are coming out, he's going to draw out the righteous ones. There will be some rebels mixed in there, but like I said, he's going to just slough them off. As soon as they open their mouth to complain, before a word can drop out of their mouth, they're dead. Done. Okay? He doesn't have time to deal with rebels anymore. And he will make a way for them. He will, like I said, he's going to pave a way in the wilderness. And he's going to have rivers flowing in the desert just for them. The beast of the field, verse 20, the beast of the field shall honor me, the dragons and the owls, because I give waters in the wilderness and rivers, not only one river, but rivers in the wilderness. And why did he give rivers in the desert? To give drink to who? His people, my chosen. He is going to give them drink. He is going to provide for them so they will have no lack. They will not have to suffer they wouldn't have to endure the test like our forefathers had to endure, because these will be the righteous ones. Verse 21, this people have I formed for myself. They shall show forth my praise. These are the righteous few. And when I say few, I'm not talking about one or two. I'm talking, actually, I don't know the number, but he knows the number. He said, I have the number with me. However that number is, he is going to provide for them. And it's not all of the people. It will only be the remnant. Jeremiah 23 from verse 3 to 8, and I will gather the remnant, that word again, of my flock, out of all the countries where I have driven them, and will bring them again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful again to their folds, and they shall be fruitful and increase. Excuse me. So that's why he said, I'm bringing a remnant, because he's going to cause the remnant to multiply. So they're not going to remain a remnant, but once they get to the land, he is going to cause them to multiply. Excuse me. Verse 4. And I will set up shepherds over them, which shall feed them, and they shall fear no more, nor be dismayed, neither shall they be lacking. You see that? He is going to make sure that all their needs are provided for, saith Yahweh. Verse 5, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will raise unto Dawad a righteous branch, and a king shall reign and prosper, and shall execute judgment and justice on the earth. And we know who that is. That could only be one person. That's Hamashiach. When he comes to rule as king for the 1,000 years on the earth. Verse 6, in his days, Yahawada shall be saved, and Yashraal shall dwell safely. In his days, Yahawada and Yashraal will be together. And this is his name whereby he shall be called Yahweh Sadakana, our righteousness. That's who we're going to proclaim him to be. And that's during his days on the earth as king for 1,000 years. Well, he will be king afterwards, but I'm just talking about the 1,000-year reign when we are going to be brought together. Verse 7, therefore, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that they shall no more say, Yahweh lives, who brought up the children of Yashrael out of the land of Matzaraim, but Yahweh lives, who brought up who led the seed of the house of Yahshua out of the north country. Not North America, the north country. And from all countries where I had driven them. And they shall dwell in their own land. Where is he leading them to? To their own land, Yahshua. That's why they have to go through the wilderness to get to the land. Because by the time they get to the land, they would have completely understand what they've done wrong. They would be hating themselves. They would see the righteousness of the Most High. They will want to worship him and him alone. They will despise the idolatry that they were once in. This is what the wilderness is going to do for them. Let's see. Next scripture. Yahawada, which is Ezekiel. That name always trips me up. Yahawada, chapter 20, verse 34. I love Yahawada, all his teachings, all his, well, not teachings, but all his prophecies. I just, one of my favorite books. And I will bring you out from the people. I will gather you out of the countries. Now, these are two different prophets that are prophesying the same thing. Precept upon precept. I will bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein you are scattered, with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. Because he's coming for vengeance on behalf of his people. The world right now, I would say they're doing the dog. And the reason why they're doing all this wickedness is because they have not seen the fury or the wrath of the Most High. They haven't seen any evidence of him really bringing judgment per se. Yes, there are disasters happening, and those that, that are believers, rather Christians, or oh yeah, that's the wrath of the Father, that's his judgments upon the earth, and you have not seen anything yet. You have not seen his fury yet. His fury, when he unleashes his fury, this earth is going to shake. You have not seen it yet. You've seen a little drop in a bucket. That's all you've seen. And most of the time, that drop in the bucket is the same devils that are playing around with nature. They're playing around with the upper atmosphere and creating storms and tsunamis and volcanoes and all these different things. They're the ones that are doing it. That's not the judgment of the Father yet. When he's ready to pour out his wrath and his fury, men will literally fall dead from the sheer fright of it all. You haven't seen nothing yet. So when he is ready to regather his people, he's coming with vengeance. Verse 35, and I will bring you into the wilderness, and I put "of" there in blue because that word is not in the original Hebrew text. Into the wilderness, the people. Now, the wilderness of the people sounds like it's a wilderness of a people, but no, he's going to bring the people into the wilderness. Right? And there I will plead with you, there will I plead with you face to face. There's a reason why they have to go through a wilderness. The same reason why we are enduring our wilderness in our countries of captivity. And we had to learn to endure and to surrender everything to him. Once we came into the knowledge of the truth of who we are, and we start building from there, with all the revelations that the Ruach HaKodesh has given to us and taught us. And we had to learn to press in and not complain, right? Not murmur, to despise the decadence of Babylon because we love Yahweh and HaMashiach. We love his word, we love his laws, we love his commandments, we love his judgments, and we want to do them, and we are purposing in our hearts to do them. Yes, we had to press through even in our wilderness. We had to learn. And it was harder for us because we were trapped under a system, a Babylonian system. And we had to learn to survive underneath that system. And the only way to survive is to try to get out of it somewhat to a place that is not as inclined to oppress us. But a lot of people don't want to come out. They want to remain where they are and wait for a wilderness to fix themselves. When in fact he's saying to you, you need to be fixed right now. And you need to come out of the system in order to be fixed. He didn't want to fix our forefathers in Matzorayim. No, he did not. He had to bring them out. Did he not? Yes, he did. It's the same thing with us. He said to us, you need to come out. But no, there are many people that are still waiting for an exodus. Right? Waiting for ships to come and take them out. They're waiting for reparations. Because they think, oh, as long as I have money, I'm good. Have you not been watching the news? They're going to remove money and all you're going to have is digital currency. What are you going to do with all that useless piece of paper? Huh? You're going to use it for fire? To burn your fires? Can't do anything with it. Let's move on. I will bring verse 36, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Matzorayim, so will I plead with you. Yahweh Alahayam. And when he said plead, he's not begging. Our Alahayam does not need to beg us for anything. He can take the rocks and raise them up to praise him. But he suffered us because of the covenant that he made with Abraham, Yitzchak, and Yaakov. And for their sake, and for the sake of his holy name, and for the sake of the covenant that he made with them, he tolerates us. He's been tolerating us for generations. Because one thing he does know is that there is going to be a remnant in the latter days that will despise the idols that our forefathers worshipped. And those are the people, that's the generation that he's been waiting on. So when he said, I will plead with you, basically what he is going to do with them is give them the same conditions of the covenant that he gave our forefathers. You have to keep the commandments. You have to keep the laws. You have to walk in them. You have to keep my judgments. Do you accept these conditions? Yes, we do. All that you say, we will do. Okay, now I will be your Alahayam and you will be my people. Now that's the covenant. But now the covenant needs to be sprinkled and the people sprinkled with blood. You have to believe in the one and only one who is Hamashiach. And what he did at the stake. He sacrificed, his life was taken from him. He is the eternal sacrifice. The lamb that was slain before the foundation of the earth was formed. And his blood still flows. Do you accept Hamashiach as your savior? Do you believe in what he has done? Yes, we do. Now the covenant is sealed. That's the pleading that he is going to do with them face to face. And he is doing it with us here today. But there's still many people out there deny Hamashiach. Good luck to you. Good luck to you. That's all I can say, because that's all you're going to have is luck. And you know where luck comes from, right? It doesn't come from the Father. He does not deal with luck. Verse 37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod. I'm going to inspect you on an individual basis. I'm going to check out what's in your heart. See if there's any idolatry hiding in there. Because you just come from an idolatrous country. You are worshiping pagan gods. So let me see if you are really truthful about saying, yes, all that you said to do, I will do. Yes, I believe in Hamashiach. Let's see if that will penetrate your heart. Let's see what's the condition of your heart. Let's see what's hiding in there. If there's nothing hiding, pass on, my servant, pass on, my child. And I will bring you into the bond of covenant. So this is what the wilderness is supposed to do. Bring them into the bond of the covenant. He wants to be in covenant with us first before he delivers us. He's not coming for rebels. And he's not going to deal with rebels. He's going to just kill them off. Verse 38, and I will purge out from among you the rebels. You see, there you go. I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. He's not dealing with rebels this time around. He's not going to suffer himself with rebels anymore. He did it with our forefathers for 40 years. He's not even going to spend four hours dealing with rebels. He's just going to cut them off right there. And I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Yahshua. He's not bringing anyone that's going to transgress his laws. They're going to question Hamashiach and who he is. No. Stay out. As a matter of fact, dead. You're dead. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. Verse 39, as for you, O house of Yahshua, said Yahweh Alahayam, go, serve you everyone his idols. And hereafter also, if you will not hearken unto me. You see, don't waste my time. Please do not waste my time, house of Yahshua. If you want to serve your idols, if you want to worship and stay in your pagan religion, fine, do it. I'm not going to force you to come to me. It's a choice. All right? But don't pollute you, my holy name, no more with your gifts and with your idols. You see, they want to bring their idols with them and their polluted gifts as well. He's like, no, don't. I'm a holy Alahayam. I do not share my glory with no one or nothing. So if you want to serve them, go ahead and serve them, but you can't serve them and me too. Verse 40, for in my holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Yahshua, said Yahweh Alahayam, all of them in the land serve me. So everyone that comes into the land will serve him and him alone. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things. He's going to restore true worship, because these are the ones that have put away idolatry and pagan worship and want to serve only him. Verse 41, I will accept you with your sweet savor when I bring you out from the people and gather you out of the countries wherein you have been scattered, and I will be sanctified in you before the heathen. You see, when the heathen see them coming out, they're coming out as a holy nation. And he's going to do such wonderful works, miracles, that the heathen will know for a fact that these are the chosen people. Verse 42, and you shall know that I am Yahweh when I shall bring you into the land of Yahshua, into the country for the which I lifted up my hand to give it to your fathers. You see, many people are teaching that the ships of Tarshish are going to take the people into the land. They're depending on Gentiles to take us into the land. How will he get the praise and the glory if that's what you think and what you believe? No. And they're talking about this concerning the southern kingdom anyway, so they're wrong on every account right there. He said, I will bring you into the land. No ships are going to bring these people. Verse 43, and there shall you remember your ways and all your doings wherein you have been defiled, and you shall loathe yourselves in your own sight for all the evils that you have committed. They're going to remember. Just like how I remember I used to eat pork. I despise the fact that I used to eat pork. And if I can go back in time and whoop myself, I would. I look back and I see the things that I used to do. I used to worship on Sunday and call it Shabbat, which is an unholy day. I used to call on JC, Jesus Christ, as my Savior. How dare I do that? Now, I'm not self-loathing. This is not what he's promoting. No, 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 no. He's not promoting self-hatred. But you're going to hate the fact that you did these things. And it's going to humble you to think that even while you were doing it, he was still loving you. While you were out there eating the pig and the shellfish, the garbage collectors of the sea, and all manner of blood still in the meat, he was still loving us. He could have put away us and said, I'm done with you. But no, he was still loving us. He said, they don't know. But one day when they do know, they will remember these days and they will despise the things that they've done, and their hearts will be wholly after me. And that's what he means by that verse there. Verse 44, and you shall know that I am Yahweh when I have wrought with you for my name's sake, not according to your wicked ways. He wasn't dealing with them according to their wicked ways, nor according to your corrupt doings. No, but because of his name's sake. For my name's sake, he dealt with us. O you house of Yahshua, said Yahweh Elohim. He's been dealing with us because of the covenant he made with our forefathers and for his name's sake. Because when he speaks a promise, when he speaks a covenant, it is constant, and it must not return to him void. Yachasa Ka'al, verse 34, chapter 34, from verse 25. And I will make a covenant of peace. I will, excuse me. And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beast to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. He's going to protect them. Nothing is going to come near these people. Verse 26, and I will make them and the places round about my hill a blessing, and I will cause the shower to come down in his season. There shall be showers of blessing. And the tree of the field shall yield her fruit, and the earth shall yield her increase, and they shall be safe in their land, and shall know that I am Yahawah, when I have broken the bands of their yoke, and delivered them out of the hand of those that serve themselves of them. Now, one thing you need to realize is when our people first went into these foreign lands, they went in as the northern kingdom with the intentions of keeping his statutes and his laws somewhat. But they also were persecuted, because the peoples in those lands, they served different gods, and they ate different foods. So what they did, rather than to remain steadfast in their worship to Allah, they submitted and became like those people, so that they can avoid persecution. And that's why the northern kingdom is lost. And I said this before, in 6 of the 7 assemblies that Yawahanan, which is John the apostle, that he spoke about, he prophesied about the seven assemblies. 6 of them are pagan assemblies. Only one is the original assembly that Hamashiach left behind. That is the assembly of Philadelphia, brotherly love. The other 6 are the 9.5 tribes, and maybe a handful of some of our own people are lost in those congregations, those assemblies. But the true awakened believer in Hamashiach of the southern kingdom only are called Philadelphia. And that is, you'll find that lesson in the chariots of Yashrael. Right? So these people, when they come to the land, now there's an order. And I really wanted to tackle the book of Revelation, but I don't think I'm going to be able to get to it, because I have so many other lessons that I need to finish and upload. But here's the order of the land anyway, because this is all part of Revelation. By the time they get to the land, it will be desolate. It will be desolate. The reason why it will be desolate is because before they get there, the 2 witnesses, which we know is Hanawak and Elijah, Enoch and Elijah, Hanawak and Elijah, will have done their work there. And what did they do there? For 3.5 years, they prophesied judgment on the people there. The ending of their the ending of their 3.5 years, they were killed. And after 3 days, they were raised again. And then there was a massive earthquake that destroyed a third part of the city. And 7,000 men. But mind you, those people that are living there in that land are being slowly killed off as we speak. I don't need to go into much details about that. If you don't know what's going on, then you need to be informed. But those people currently are being slowly killed off by their own people. And what these two witnesses are going to do is kill off some more. And then the earthquake is going to kill some more. And the few that are left, you know what's going to happen to them? Isaiah, Yahshua 13. They're going to flee to their own lands again. They're going to return to their original lands. Europe, Russia, wherever they came from, they're returning. They're going to be kicked out of the land. And the land is going to remain desolate. There will be no human beings in that land. And the reason why the Most High sent these two witnesses, his two prophets, is because there's so much blood, innocent blood that was shed in the land, and the land needs to be cleansed. And we know that the land can only be cleansed with more blood through the vengeance of Yahawah. So he sends his two witnesses, his two prophets, as a way to avenge the blood, the innocent blood that was shed in the land. So by the time these people come into the land is cleansed. But that's not even half of it. Because once they come into the land, and the land starts to produce for them, he now needs to expand the land. He needs to get back the land that was originally ours. So we're going to see in part 3 how he's going to do that. It's amazing the things that the Father does. Oh, he is so amazing. So he's going to bring them after the two witnesses are done with the land, and the land is waiting for them now. The land is eagerly waiting for the sons to come back. So it's going to yield her increase. Hallelujah. It's going to yield for these people. Verse 28, and they shall no more be a prey to the heathen, neither shall the beast of the field of the land devour them, but they shall dwell safely, and none shall make them afraid. They're going to be dwelling in cities without walls, because he will become their wall. And I will raise up, verse 29, I will raise up for them a plant of renown, and they shall be no more consumed with hunger in the land, neither bear the shame of the heathen anymore. So they will no longer be in the image of the heathens where they used to live, worshiping their pagan gods. Now they're in the image of the Most High. And that shame is gone. They are now a glorified people, a righteous people. Verse 30, they shall know that, thus shall they know that I, Yahawah, their Al-Hayam, am with them. And that they, even the house of Yahshua, are my people, said Yahawah Al-Hayam. They will know for sure we are the people. And they will have such love for him and for each other. And this is a place where they need to be, just like we need to be in that place, so that when he brings us together, we will be one. How can we be one? Unless we love him and we love each other. Oneness. Just like the Son loves the Father and the Father loves the Son, so he expects us to love him and love each other. But if you have a rebellious heart, how can you love? Verse 31, and you, my flock, the flock of my pastor, are men, and I am Alahayat, your Alahayam, said Yahweh Alahayam. So that is the covenant there. That is the covenant. You're my people, and I am your Alahayam. Book of Jeremiah, chapter 31. Another favorite scripture of mine. At the same time, said Yahweh, will I be Alahayam of all the families of Yashraal? And he's not talking about 12 tribes. He's talking about the 9.5 tribes. Okay? Just get that in your brain. He's addressing the northern kingdom. And they shall be my people. Verse 2. Thus saith Yahweh, the people who were left of the sword found grace in the wilderness, even Yashraal, when I went to cause him to rest. So some of them are going to be killed off. That's what that sword is for. Verse 3. Yahweh have appeared of old unto me, saying, yeah, I have loved you with an everlasting love. Therefore, with loving kindness have I drawn you. Again, I will build you, and you shall be built, O virgin of Yashraal. Now, you're going to see that word, that phrase occurring throughout the prophecies. When he says, O virgin of Yashraal, or O virgin of Yahawada, of Judah, right? He's speaking of the redeemed ones. When you think of a virgin, is a woman or a man who has never had intercourse with the opposite sex. Okay? Whereas, in this case, they're not worshiping pagan gods. They've been purified and glorified. And now they're virgins for him again. Okay? You shall again be adorned with your tabrets, and shall go forth in the dances of them that make merry. There's going to be a rejoicing happening. Verse 5, you shall plant vines upon the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant and shall eat them as common things. The land is going to increase the volume of the trees, the fruits, the vegetables, everything that they have there, even the animals, everything is going to be abundant. This is the blessing of the Most High upon his people. This is the blessing that he wanted to give our forefathers way back in Masha's time, right? Abundance, but they wanted the abundance on their terms, right? They wanted to worship who they want to worship, when they want to worship. And he's saying, no, that's not going to work for me. You do what I say to do, because I am the creator. I am the potter, and you are the clay. You don't tell me what you want to do. I tell you what I want you to do, and you obey. And I will bless you when you obey. But if you don't obey me, I'm going to bring my curses against you. In fact, he doesn't have curses. The curses are the ones that are the things that they're exposed to, that he's trying to prevent them from coming against his own people. But that's disobedience. Disobedience comes with curses. Obedience comes with blessings. Verse 6. For there shall be a day that the watchman upon the Mount Aparayam, which is Ephraim, shall cry, arise you, let us go up to Shalawam unto Yahweh Alahayana, or Alahayam. For thus saith Yahweh, sing with gladness for Yaakov, and shout among the chief of the nations. Publish, listen, obey you, praise you, and say, O Yahweh, save your people, the remnant of Yashraal. Behold, I will bring them from the north country. See how he's given them Okay, he's telling them, you be my people. I'm going to bring you through the wilderness, and I'm going to bring you into a land of milk and honey again, right? And now he's reminding them again of what he is going to do, right? I will bring them forth from the north country and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child and her that travails with child together. A great company shall return there. Right? Now, although he says a great company, it's still a remnant. Because if you know how many people we have multiplied to become, even though they may look like a great company, that's still a small fraction of the people that are coming out. So he reiterates the bad, the good, back to the bad, right? The things that they've done, right? And how he's going to regather them and where he's going to regather them. He reiterates that to let us know that this thing that he has spoken about over and over and over again must come to pass, because he sent it out there. Since the time of Jeremiah, that word is out there and it's waiting to be activated. So it's not that he's repeating himself per se, but he is reiterating that word, and that word is being empowered every time he repeats it. So that when it comes to pass, it's going to literally shake this world. That's the power of his word. Verse 8, and I will bring them from the north country and gather them from the coasts of the earth, and with them the blind, the lame, the woman with child, and her that travails with child together. A great company shall return there. They shall come with weeping and supplications will I lead them. You see, they're going to start off crying and begging, right? Because they're going to be in such a state. But he is going to be with them and he is going to lead them. And that's going to be their comfort. He is going to become their comfort. But that's the place where they need to be. Because with that weeping and supplication, they're repenting. They're fearful because they don't know what's going to happen to them. Things are happening on the earth. Bad things are happening all around them. And yet they got to leave their lands to traverse through these things, these events, these occurrences that are happening on the earth. Do you know how fearful that would be? I will cause them to walk by the rivers of waters in a straight way. So he is going to bring them out, but he's also going to make a pathway for these people to walk in. Also, he will have water there all along the way for them. And I believe with these people, he's going to restore the manna. Yes, he will. He's going to restore manna. And with him, and straightway wherein they shall not stumble. He's not going to lead them in a path where they will be in a trap, where they will lose their way. It will be a straight way. They wouldn't even have to ask any questions. Okay, do I turn left? Do I turn right? No, he's going to light the path for them. They're already enduring so much, not really hardships, but they're already going through so much with what is happening around them and in them and through. They're going to be in a state, right? But that's only for a short period of time, because after the sorrow, now comes the rejoicing. Once they realize that they're being led by him and he's directing their paths, then their hearts will be uplifted, and then they'll start to rejoice and they will have no more fear. For I am a father to Yashraal and Aparayam. This is still verse 9. Ephraim is my firstborn, and Ephraim is also a name attributed to the house of Yashraal. Verse 10, hear the word of Yahweh, O you nations, and declare it in the isles afar off, and say, he that scattered Yashraal will gather him and keep him as a shepherd does his flock. So he scattered them, he's going to bring them back, and he's going to be the shepherd that will lead them all along the way. They would not even need a compass to go anywhere. They don't need nothing, no GPS, no compass, no nothing. They don't need anything. All they need is him. And he is going to be the one to lead them along the way. Verse 11, for Yahweh have redeemed Yaakov and ransomed him from the hand of him that was stronger than he. The lands that they were living in, the people that they were living amongst, were stronger than he. That's why they submitted themselves and became like them. They could not have been themselves in these lands. Verse 12, therefore they shall come and sing in the height of Shalawam. And we know Shalawam is going to be the capital of worship. That's where he's going to have his tabernacle. And shall flow together to the goodness of Yahweh for wheat and for wine and for oil and for your flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. There you go. He's going to take care of them. Verse 13. Then shall the virgin, goes back again to the virgin of Yashraal, shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, both young men and old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy and will comfort them and make them rejoice from their sorrow. Once they see the hand of Hamashiach, once they see the hand of Allah Hayam, Yahweh, working on their behalf and protecting them, guiding them, providing for them, that sorrow is going to leave them. Because that sorrow is there because they're uncertain. Remember, they're coming out from pagan worship and into a different environment. They're not like us that were slowly indoctrinated. Well, that's not the correct words. Forgive me. That were slowly introduced into our identity and worship of the Most High. This is going to be a quick work for these people. So that's why he is going to make sure that they don't suffer along the way from a lack of water or food. They have enough to deal with. And he's going to cause them to rejoice. Verse 14, I will saturate the soul of the priest with fatness, with blessings. And my people shall be satisfied with my goodness. Verse said Yahweh, verse 15, thus saith Yahweh, a voice was heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping. Rahel, weeping for her children, refused to be comforted for her children because they were not. And this we heard Hamashiach quoting this scripture because of the people that will be excuse me the people, many of our people are going to perish, and that's a sad state of affairs. Many of our people are going to perish. And when I say perish, I'm not talking about just dying and then raised again on the millennial reign of Hamashiach. No, I'm talking about being cast into the pit of fire, into the lake of fire. Many of our people are going that way because they don't exist anymore. So yes, she's going to cry. It's a sad day. Verse 16, thus saith Yahweh, refrain your voice from weeping and your eyes from tears. for your work shall be rewarded, said Yahweh. All the things that we have purpose in our hearts to do for him will be rewarded. So we need to stop weeping. There's a time for weeping, but then there will be a time of rejoicing. And they shall come again from the land of the enemy. And there's hope in your end, said Yahweh, that your children shall come again to their own border. Like I said, our land has a border around it. It's not that sliver of land that you see today. No, it's not. And it's definitely not in Africa like some people are claiming that our land is in Africa. Parts of it is in Africa, which is all the way to the river Nile. But that's it. The rest of that land belonged to Ham. And all these people are claiming that South Africa is our land. It's not our land. Then the scriptures are lying. The Apocrypha is lying. But you go into maps and you go into historian books and all these different things, and you're gleaning your truth from those places. They can create maps, make them look old, ancient, to make you think that a name called Jerusalem in South Africa is our land. And if it was our land, it would not be called Jerusalem anyway, because there were no J's in our language. There's not even a J in Hebrew. So if it was our land, it would not be starting with the letter J. Come on. You see the name Jerusalem and you automatically think it is the same Jerusalem that was the center of our worship. How can it be? It was never called that in our days. That's a modern name. So that map is a fake map. You need to do your homework, starting with the language first. Once you have the language under your belt, now you are informed to understand the names and the titles. So our own border is right where the land that they've stolen from us is, along with the extensions. But we're going to get it all back. Don't worry about that. Verse 18. I have certainly heard Aparayam bemoaning himself thus. You have chastised me. You have disciplined me. And I was chastised as a bullock unaccustomed to the yoke. You're not used to being yoked with him. Turn you me, and I shall be turned, for you are Yahweh Alahai, my Alahayam. So now they're asking him to turn them. Yes, we're yoked with you, and we're not accustomed to this because in our pagan worship we were permitted sinful acts. We can do certain things that now you're saying that is evil. But it's okay. We want this. Turn me. 19. Surely after that I was turned. I repented. Because he listens to us. When we come to him and say, I want you to teach me. Please, Father, teach me, reveal to me, open my heart, open my mind. Even though I may have a hard time accepting it because it's going to pierce my heart. It's going to hurt. But help me to absorb it. Let it hurt. Because after the hurt, after the pain, you will bring your healing balm, and you will heal me and restore me to be better than I was before. But if I allow that cancer to remain, all it's going to do is consume me till there's nothing left. So when we go to him and we pray that kind of prayer and we say, Father, help us. I want to know. I want to learn. It doesn't matter. I just want to know. He is going to deliver. All you have to do is repent. That's all we need to do. Pride stops you from repenting. Verse 19 still. And after that, I was instructed, because now he can teach us. We have humbled ourselves before him, and now he is ready to teach us. And I smote upon my thigh. Yes, that's something we do out of frustration, because, hey, I didn't know that. I was ashamed, yes, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. All the things that we used to do, as he starts to instruct us about his righteousness and his holiness, and we look at our lives and we start to investigate things that we've done in our lives, and even behaved and dressed, and what we've eaten. Once we compare those things, yes, it makes us feel ashamed and confounded, and we start to smote ourselves like, oh, I can't believe I used to do that. Right? Verse 20, is Aparayam my dear son? Is he a pleasant child? For since I spoke against him, I do earnestly remember him still. He never forgot us, forgot them, but we can say this is for us as well, because we had to go through that, or we're going through that right now. But this is what the northern kingdom is going to have to go through. So that's why we can relate so easily to these scriptures, these prophecies. Therefore my bowels are troubled. And when he said bowels, he's not talking about his intestines. No, he's talking about his heart. He's talking about his heart. His heart is troubled for him. I will surely have mercy upon him, said Yahawah. Because his heart is troubled. He wants him back. Verse 21, set you up waymarks, make you high heaps, make signposts. Right? Set your heart towards the highway. Set your heart to want to travel on the path that I am going to lay before you. Even the way which you go. Turn again, O Virgin of Yahshua. Again that phrase, the redeemed. He's speaking to the redeemed ones now. Turn again to these, your cities. He's leading them to their cities. How long, verse 22, how long will you go about, oh, you backsliding daughter? Now he's reverting back to the whole group, the original group, the ones that he's now addressing right there with Ezekiel, right? For Yahweh, oh, you backsliding daughter. Because these are not, the backsliding daughter is not the same as the virgin of Yashrael. The virgin of Yashrael is the ones that he bringing up. But the backsliding daughter is the ones that that Ezekiel is currently addressing. And even the rebels. Those are the backsliding daughter. For Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth, a woman shall compass a man. Now I looked at that, and that can have two meanings, right? I haven't yet gotten the full revelation of it, but I will tell you the two thoughts that came to my mind about a woman shall compass a man. A woman shall surround a man. I'm thinking of a woman that's pregnant with a man-child. That's how a woman will compass a man, right? The second thought of this, is going to not rest easy with a lot of men, right? Because we know in the Hebrew camps, only the men, only their voice is heard. The woman sits behind. In fact, you don't even see the woman, right? And so we've been trained to think, or they try to put it out there, that a woman cannot be a leader, right? That's why some of them will have a problem with me and my, lessons. That's all right. That's okay. I'm not doing it for them. I'm doing it for the ones that want to learn. Right? So a woman shall compass a man. And the new thing, because a woman being pregnant is not a new thing, obviously. But that I just put that out there because it's an awesome thing to consider that a woman can birth a man child and that man child becomes a man. But a woman shall compass a man. And the new thing would be is that a woman will be able to help lead some of the men people. A woman shall lead a man. But yet, she's not going to lead him to usurp his authority, but she'll be given gifts just like he will give men gifts. And once and for all, there will be a balance between the man and the woman, the husband and the wife. There will be an equal yokeness because right now we are not equally yoked. I don't care if you're under these camps, a man and a woman are not equally yoked. You have the man who is sitting on a high tower and the woman is sitting at his feet. That's not equally yoked. That's imbalance. But when you have a husband and a wife working side by side together, and sometimes she takes the lead, well, yeah, she can compass a man. But that's not usurping his authority. She will still have great respect for him as her husband and the man of the house. So that could be the new thing in the earth, that he will give women leadership positions. So I shall say no more. Verse 23. Excuse my clearing my throat like that. I started a little bit earlier today, and yeah. Verse 23. For thus saith Yahweh Sabaoth, that is Yahweh of hosts, Alahayim ol Yashrael, Alahayim of Yashrael, as yet they shall use this speech in the land of Yahawada, in the cities thereof. So they're all going to, because the land of Yahawada, the land of Judah, is the center of the worship. That's where Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, is located in the province of Yahawada, the land of Yahawada. So they're all going to, remember, there's still going to be half a tribe of Levi or Levi with the northern kingdom. So they have to come back to the city of worship, right? Which is in Yahawada. And the cities around there that will be occupied by Levi and a few of the other people. But he said in another scripture that I believe in part 3, it's going to be outlined there in the book of Ezekiel, one of those books, that he is going to, what originally when Yahawashua, which is Joshua, as their leader, came into the land and allotted the land and the portions of the land to the 12 tribes, right? That these 9.5 tribes will take up that allotment again, right? But for now, they're there to help clean up the city and build it up, because they're going to help build up the land as well. They're going to build. Yeah, they're going to build. That's what they're there for, to help build up the land again. Get it ready for when the southern kingdom and Yahawashua comes again. And that's why the land is going to yield its strength, her strength. So as yet they shall use this speech in the land of Yahawada and in the cities thereof, when I shall bring again their captivity. Yahweh bless you, O habitation of justice, the mountain of holiness. And there shall dwell in Yahawada itself and in all the cities thereof husbandmen. Those are people that tend to flocks and to cattle and they that go forth with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and I have replenished every sorrowful soul. So they're now in their land, they're living at peace, and they're the land is yielding, the animals are yielding their increase, even they are multiplying, right? So he is satisfying their weariness when they were living in the land of their captivity. They didn't even know that they were living as captives, right? It's been so many generations of living there, they didn't even know it, but they were under a heavy burden and they didn't even realize it. So now that they've come out and they realize who they are and who they're supposed to worship, and they're actually worshiping him and seeing how everything is responding, the land, the animals, their wives, all responding with abundance. Yes, they've been replenished and satisfied. Verse 26, upon this I awakened, and behold, and my sleep was sweet unto me. Verse 27, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Yashua and the house of Yahawada. Now read this carefully, because if you read it the wrong way, you're going to get the wrong impression. All right? With the seed of man. So he will sow the house of Yashua with the seed of man, meaning he's going to cause them. When you sow seed, you're planting. You're planting for something to grow up, the plant to grow up and to bear fruit. So what he's saying, I am going to cause the house of Yashua and the house of Yahawada to bear fruit. They're going to multiply. And with the seed of beasts, even their animals are going to multiply abundantly. And it shall come to pass, verse 28, that like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to throw down and to destroy and to afflict, right, because of their disobedience, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, said Yahweh. In those days they shall say no more, the fathers have eaten a sour grape, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But everyone shall die for his own iniquity. Every man that eats a sour grape, his teeth shall be set on edge. So back in the days, when you have the 12 spies, that went out to investigate the land to see if it was really what Yahweh said it was. 10 came back with a negative report, 2 came back with a positive, and it caused a rippling effect in the camp where people started complaining. And I could honestly say to you that not everyone was complaining, but all of them had to go back into the wilderness, with the exception of 2 that openly said, no, we can take it. Or yes, we can take it. We can take the land. That was the wrong word. Yes, we can take the land. That was Yahushua, which is Joshua and Caleb, right? And he sent all of them back. So the 10 leaders that went out, and these were leaders from the 12 tribes. And 10 of the leaders said no. And what happened to the people? They all died in the wilderness. But this time around, everyone is responsible for their own iniquity. Whatever decision you've made, you can't blame it. Oh, my leader told me this and I believed him. No, it's your fault. Are you stupid? Are you foolish that you can't read for yourself? He has given us his Ruach HaKodesh so that he can come and teach us personally. We can have one-on-one lessons with him. How dare you blame it on your teacher? He's not going to accept that as an apology. Neither will he accept it as a reason. Right? And if you're under a false teacher, you need to come out, first of all, because all you're going to do is absorb all. You cannot learn anything new underneath this man. You cannot learn from the Ruach HaKodesh and still be under this man. Right? But the Father is not going to collectively kill us out like he did in the wilderness. Right? But if you're stuck under a false leader, right, you're going to perish along with him or her. If you separate yourself and you allow the Ruach to teach you, well, you have a chance. But you can't blame anyone for your demise. You cannot. Every man, if you eat a sour grape, it is your responsibility. And if you eat the sour grape and you have children that are not eating of the same doctrines that you're eating of, there's a chance for them. Yes, there is. Because the curse of the parent, the punishment of the parent is not going to pass on to the child. He's not going to do that anymore. Remember, we were all under Adam's curse, Adam and Hawa's curse, because of that one thing that they disobeyed, that one commandment that they disobeyed in the Garden of Eden. And then we were under the curses of our forefathers. And that's why we were in captivity all this time. But those days are done. Completely finished. And now we will have to accept punishment for our own foolishness, our own disobedience, our failure to follow his commandments, to walk in them, to know them. These are some serious times. And there's so many doctrines out there trying to cause us to deny the teachings, the basic tenets of our faith. But it all comes down now to just you and him. That's why he's going to cause, he's going to cause the northern kingdom to pass under the rod. We too must go under that rod. And he's going to investigate us. Who's eating false doctrines? Who's listening to these false teachers and these false prophets and ignoring what my spirit is telling you to do and to believe? Verse 31, behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yahshua and with the house of Yahawada. This is separate. He's currently here. In fact, when Hamashiach was here and after he died, the new covenant came into effect for the house of Yahawada. So more than 2,000 years we had available to us the new covenant. The house of Yahshua did not. Verse 32, not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Matzorayim, which my covenant they broke, though I was a husband unto them, said Yahweh. Right? But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yashrael. This is what he is going to do with Yashrael. He's already done it with us at this point of time. Now, verse 31, although it says that I will make a new covenant with the house of Yashrael and with the house of Yahawada, I put them in two different colors because those are two different times that he will make this covenant with us and with them. As I said before, the house of Yahawada had the availability of the new covenant for more than 2,000 years. So now the new covenant, the house of Yashrael is coming into the new covenant, or they're now being brought under the new covenant or brought into the new covenant with Yahweh after they leave their lands and bring them into the wilderness. He said, after those days, still verse 33. Sorry. Verse 32 still. That I told them by the hand, my covenant which I brought, although I was a husband unto them, said Yahweh. Right? So he was married to them. And when he said married, that means covenant. That's what that means. He was in covenant with them. All right? So he wants to be in covenant with us before he delivers us. So these people that are waiting to go into the wilderness, to go into covenant with him, you're going to lose your life in the land of your captivity. Because he's not delivering rebels anymore. And if you in the southern kingdom are left behind, because the chariots are coming for them, for us, and if you're left behind, there's only one way out for you to have eternal life, and that's through death. But as a martyr, standing on the testimony of Hamashiach. If you continue on your path of wickedness, you will perish and end up in the lake of fire. And you can't join the northern kingdom in the wilderness. He's not bringing, I said this many times before, he's not bringing the two nations together just yet. Y'all will be fighting each other and killing you off each other in the wilderness. And the devil will be only so happy if that happened. So no, he's dealing with us as two separate nations until the time of Hamashiach, because by that time, the righteous remnants of both nations will have the love of him, lighting them in from the inward parts and blossoming outward, because they will have a great love for him, for his covenant, for his commandments, his laws, and his judgments, for each other. And when we are joined to them, we will have love for each other again. Great love. It's not going to happen before that. Verse 33. But this shall be the covenant that I will make with the house of Yahshua after those days. After those days when I bring them out into the wilderness, I will put my law in their inward parts, meaning in their minds, and write it in their hearts, and will be their Alahayam, and they shall be my people. And that is the covenant. Verse 34, and they shall teach no more every man his neighbor and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh, for they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, said Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and I will remember their sin no more. He will cleanse them, sanctify them, because he has forgiven them. Verse 35, Thus saith Yahweh, who gives the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, who divides the sea when the waves thereof roar. Yahweh Sabaoth is his name. Now, verse 36, If those ordinances depart from before me, said Yahweh, then the seed of Yahshua also shall cease from being a nation before me forever. So there goes the church false theology that the church has replaced Israel. That's the replacement theology. All right. Verse 37. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Yahshua. And when he said all the seed, he's not talking about the northern kingdom, the southern kingdom. He's talking about the northern kingdom. I will also cast them off from before me for all that they have done, said Yahweh. He's still addressing them, right? Behold, the days come, said Yahweh. Because remember, they've done a lot of, they've been living like Gentiles for so many generations. Compared to us, we were living as Gentiles for about 400 years. But they've been living as Gentiles for a long, long time. They left the land since 721 BC. Thus saith Yahweh, if heaven above can be searched out, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Yashrael for all that they have done, said Yahweh. That was verse 37, verse 38. Behold, the days come, said Yahweh, that the city shall be built to Yahweh from the tower of Naal, which is Hananiel, onto the gate of the corner. So now he's given them instructions of how the city will be built up again. So he is addressing the house of Yashrael again. If he was done with them because they were out of sight, out of mind, and you got the camps with these fake tribes from these other Gentile nations being our people that look nothing like us, right? All right. If he had cast them away and he was done with them, then you would know. But he said, no, nothing can come between me and my people. Nothing. Now, if you can measure the depths of the earth and the heights of the heavens and all these different things, then I'll be able to cast them away. But that's not possible. So these things that he is stating are impossible things for a man to do. So therefore, it is impossible for him to deny the seed of Yashrael, the house of Yashrael, to be his people. It's not possible. And so he's going to instruct them to rebuild the city. This is the Yerushalayim. Okay? And the measuring line shall yet go forth over against it upon Mount Garab, and shall compass about to Goa. And the whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes and all the fields unto the brook of Kadararan, which is Kedron, unto the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy unto Yahweh. It shall not be plucked up nor thrown down any more forever. And we know the temple in Yerushalayim has been torn down however many times. I think twice, right? People are still looking for a third. People are expecting a third temple to be rebuilt. There will be a third temple, but it would not be rebuilt by the people there. That's for sure. So he's giving them instruction, and he's going to clean the land with all the dead bodies that are there. When I was there, I went for a visit. And Kidron, by the way, the brook of Kidron or Kadawaran is like a trickle. I expected this flowing river or something, but yeah, it's a brook, but it's more like a trickle than anything else. You can't even see it. It's like this tiny little thing flowing through the land. So that's probably gonna be big again, be flowing, not probably, it will be flowing with water again. He's gonna clean up the land. And there's a part of Yerushalayim by the city, just outside the city wall. You have all these grave sites with all these dead bodies. You have mausoleum, I think that's what it's called, for Absalom, the son of Dawad. Yeah, and they have the coffin of Dawad that they worship. Yes. They have the coffin of Dawad that they worship. And all these things he's going to have to clean up. All these things he's going to have to tear down and destroy and make the land holy again. That's why he sent his two witnesses, because they're going to come with fire, right? They're going to come with fire, and they're going to come with plagues and all kind of things, and that land is going to be cleansed, and all these different things are going to just be eradicated, and the earthquake alone is going to just absorb all these. It's going to open up, the earth is going to open up her mouth and just absorb all this pagan stuff that's sitting there, all this death and bones and all these different, just going to swallow it up, right? And then the land would be holy again and ready for the people to come in and rebuild it. All right. Let's look at Yeshaya 35, which is my favorite. Another one. Verse 1, the wilderness and the solitary place shall be glad for them, and the desert shall rejoice and blossom as the rose. And that's what they're going to experience as they go through the wilderness, and the waters are flowing and the rivers are flowing, the highways there. It's like the land is greatly anticipating the return of the sons of the Most High to the land that they belong to. Remember, we were taken from the land. And there's a strong connection between us and the land. So when I would say the northern kingdom, when they are brought into the wilderness is going to rejoice. The land is going to rejoice all the way to the land of Yahshua. Right? Verse 2, it shall blossom abundantly and rejoice, even with joy and singing. The glory of Lebanon shall be given unto it. And I've heard that Lebanon back in the day was a beautiful country until wars have ravished it and made it a desolation. And now the people are leaving because there's no work, no money, no nothing. So now it no longer has a glory. But you beg to wonder, why is this happening to Lebanon? Because that was part of our territory. So it's going to become a desolation. Right? The excellency of Carmel and Sharon, they shall see the glory of Yahweh, and the excellency of Allah-Hayana, our Allah-Hayam. Strengthen you the weak hands and confirm the feeble knees. Say to them that are of a fearful heart, be strong, fear not. Behold, Allah-Hayakam, your Allah-Hayam. Now there's Allah-Hayak, which is your Allah-Hayam, singular. So pertaining to one person. So Allah-Hayakam is your Allah-Hayam collectively as a group of people. All right? Will come with vengeance, even Allah-Hayam with recompense. He will come and save you. So now, this is Yahshua talking to the northern kingdom, letting them know, when you come out